Good morning, members of the board. My name is Emily Long, and I am the Chief Information Officer here at Premier University. The purpose of today's briefing is to share the improvements we've made to our information security program. These changes are designed to protect our students, safeguard sensitive financial information, and ensure we never repeat the challenge we faced during last year's data breach. I'll walk you through what happened, what we found, but most importantly, how we've strengthened our defenses. I'll also highlight how these improvements align with federal requirements, particularly the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, and why they matter for future success here at Premier University. First, we'll talk about the weaknesses we uncovered after the breach. Identifying those weaknesses was the starting point for our improvements. Secondly, I will explain how we've strengthened compliance with the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, which requires universities like ours to protect student financial aid data. Third, we're going to look at how we've launched a university-wide security awareness program. The reality is that technology alone cannot solve all problems. Our people play a huge role in keeping us safe. And finally, we'll go through the policy, process, and technology improvements that have already been implemented, along with what's still underway. Let's briefly revisit the data breach. Last year, unauthorized individuals gained access to sensitive information. The breach itself was relatively limited, but it was a wake-up call. The investigation revealed weak points in how we stored and protected information. For example, some university-owned laptops weren't encrypted, making them vulnerable if they were lost or stolen. Sensitive information was sometimes kept on personal devices without proper safeguards. Even though the breach didn't result in direct financial loss, it highlighted serious risks. Beyond the technical concerns, there's an equally important issue: trust. Parents and students trust us with their most private data, financial records, addresses, and even social security numbers. A breach damages that trust. And finally, the breach raised concerns about whether we were meeting our compliance obligations, which could lead to penalties or loss of funding. Through our review, we identified 4 main weaknesses. The first was unencrypted devices. Imagine if you lost your phone and anyone who found it could instantly read all your emails, photos, or even files. That's essentially what was happening with university laptops. Data was stored in plain form and wasn't protected if the device fell into the wrong hands. The second issue was excessive sensitive data on personal devices. Faculty and staff sometimes kept student data on their personal computers where protections were minimal. This created an unnecessary risk. Third, our policies were inconsistent. Some departments were following best practices while others weren't. Without clear, unified policies, we had gaps in protection. And finally, security awareness was low. Many staff and students weren't trained to recognize phishing attempts or understand how their actions could put university data at risk. This human factor is often the easiest way for an attacker to get in. With those weaknesses identified, we had to set clear goals for the program. First and foremost, we need to protect student data, including financial records, academic information, and personal details. This isn't just a technical issue, it's a matter of trust. Second, compliance with the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act is mandatory. It's not optional, and non-compliance could lead to fines or restrictions on federal aid programs here at Premier University. Third, we want to build a culture of security awareness. Technology can only do so much. If students or staff click on a malicious link or mishandle data, the strongest technical defenses won't even matter. And finally, we need stronger monitoring and faster response. Breaches will continue to happen across higher education, but how quickly and effectively we respond makes all the difference in limiting such a huge impact. To meet those goals, we launched a series of improvements. We rewrote and strengthened our security policies so every department is now following the same rules. This is going to bring consistency across the entire university. We encrypted all university-owned laptops and devices. Encryption essentially locks the information so that if a device is lost or stolen, the data is unreadable without the proper key. We also rolled out a multi-factor authentication, which means logging in now requires not only a password, but also a second factor, such as a code sent to your phone. This is going to make it much harder for attackers to gain access, even if they can steal a password. And finally, we implemented data minimalization policies. Instead of keeping sensitive data on personal devices or storing it indefinitely, we limit what data is collected, where it's stored, and for even how long. This reduces the amount of information that could be exposed in the event of another breach. Under the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, universities are required to safeguard student financial information, particularly data that is going to be related to their financial aid. To meet those requirements, we have made several improvements. We have encrypted all financial aid databases so information is protected at rest and in transit. We also implemented role-based access controls, which means only staff who absolutely need to see financial aid can access it. We've introduced regular audits and reporting so we can continuously verify compliance. And finally, we have trained our staff who handle the financial aid records on the proper procedures to protect that data. This ensures compliance isn't just a checklist, it's built into our daily operations. Technology is important, but the people who use it are just as critical. One of the weaknesses identified during the breach investigation was a lack of security awareness among our employees and our students. Many attacks succeed because of simple mistakes, like clicking on a phishing email or reusing weak passwords. To address this, we rolled out regular cybersecurity awareness training. These sessions cover practical, easy-to-understand topics such as how to spot suspicious emails, how to use strong passwords, and the importance of handling sensitive data carefully. By raising awareness, we reduce the risk of human errors leading to another breach. Our goal here is to make cybersecurity a part of everyone's daily routine, not just the responsibility of the IT department. To better protect our systems, we've invested in several new technologies. First, our firewalls and intrusion detection systems have been upgraded. Think of these like the locks and alarms on a house. They're going to keep intruders out and alert us immediately if somebody is trying to break in. Second, we've deployed endpoint detection tools on laptops and desktops. These give us visibility into unusual behavior on individual devices like malware infections, so we can respond quickly and efficiently. Finally, we've adopted secure cloud storage solutions. This means sensitive data is backed up, encrypted, and stored safely, reducing the risk of loss or unauthorized access. Together, these enhancements are going to give us multiple layers of defense against cyber attacks. When the last breach happened, one of the biggest challenges was confusion. People weren't sure who should do what or how to respond. We have fixed that. Our updated incident response plan clearly lays out roles and responsibilities so there's no hesitation in the middle of an emergency. We've also set up automated alerts that are going to notify the IT security team the moment suspicious activity is detected. To make sure everyone is prepared, we will run tabletop exercises, which are going to be practice scenarios where we simulate a breach and walk through the response step by step. This way, when something real happens, our team can respond quickly and effectively, reducing disruption to the university. Another area of improvement is how we manage data across its entire life cycle. We have introduced stronger data governance practices. First, sensitive data like financial aid information is now classified and labeled, so we will always know which data requires the highest level of protection. Second, we've implemented strict retention policies, meaning we will only keep data for as long as it's truly needed. Holding onto unnecessary data is only going to create more of a risk. Third, we've introduced secure disposal methods. So old or outdated data is permanently destroyed and it can't be recovered by an unauthorized party. These steps will make sure we handle information responsibly from the moment it's created until the day it is no longer needed. Cybersecurity threats don't take nights or weekends off, so we have built around-the-clock monitoring into our program. Our systems are now going to run 24/7, watching for unusual activity in real time. On top of that, we have conducted routine security audits to make sure our defenses are working as intended. And finally, we have created executive dashboards that translate technical data into easy-to-read visuals for leadership. This way, our university leaders and the board can see clear updates on the progress, risks, and compliance without needing a technical background. This transparency is going to ensure accountability and keep everyone engaged in our security efforts. At the end of the day, this just isn't about firewalls, passwords, or policies. It's about trust. Students and their families trust us to protect their personal and financial information. If we fail to do that as a university, we risk losing their confidence and damaging our university's reputation. Strong security also helps us avoid costly fines or legal penalties which can arise from non-compliance with federal laws like the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act. It's going to prevent operational disruptions like canceled classes or locked systems that could interrupt learning and research. Most importantly, it's going to safeguard the reputation here that Premier University has built over the decades. Protecting our community is central to our mission, and cybersecurity is now a key part of that. Looking ahead, cybersecurity is still going to remain a top priority here. We are preparing to adopt AI-driven threat detection systems, which can spot unusual behavior faster than traditional tools by learning what normal looks like and flagging anything out of the ordinary. We are also exploring advanced access controls, which give us even finer control who can access sensitive systems and when. And finally, we're committing to ongoing program reviews. Cybersecurity isn't something you finish, it's something that you're continually improving. By planning for the future, we are ensuring that Premier University stays ahead of emerging threats. In conclusion, Premier University has made significant strides in strengthening our cybersecurity posture. We've put stronger policies in place, ensured compliance with the GLBA requirements. We've launched security awareness programs for our entire community and invested in better technology and response capabilities. Together, these steps are creating a culture of security across the university. We are now in a far stronger, much better position to protect our students, staff, and our reputation, and to continue our mission of providing education and research in a safe and trusted environment. Below we have the references that guided our work. The NIST SP 800 171 provided standards for protecting sensitive information in non-federal organizations. The Federal Student Aid GLBA memo from 2020 clarifies compliance expectations for universities just like ours, and the Department of Education's Dear Colleague letter reinforces the importance of protecting student information. By grounding our program in these authoritative resources, we ensure we're not only meeting compliance requirements, but also following our industry's best practices. I thank you all for your time today, and I can't wait to see the future of Premier University here in our cybersecurity.